do it. Yeah, I don't know why. This is like the second time this has happened where my microphone wasn't selected. Like, I had the microphone plugged in, it's on, but it's not selected. I don't know why this keeps happening, Streamlabs. Why must you do this? No, Ponythroat, my mic is plugged in. It just wasn't selected by Streamlabs. I guess I ought to start checking for that. You know, I would have thought that, like, my microphone being plugged in and on would have meant that it's, on. But I guess not. Anyway, yes, how are we doing today? It is Larsen Live, March 1st. We opened up with the Incredible Hulk's theme from Marvel vs. Capcom 3. A more refined and heavy metaler version of his MVC1 theme. It is not Captain Falcon's theme, Ponythroat, but it's pretty close to it. Because thick-necked oafs are having a bit of a renaissance as of late. Hence the title of the stream, The Oaf Renaissance. Last week, of course, we talked about, Trump Finger and Timu Oddjob. An oaf for all of us to aspire to. But there's more oafery going on. Let's see what's in the news. I guess we're just going to go right to this title story. There's a couple of oaf victories this week. So let me just get the picture going. Jafiff has to work its magic, of course. Yes, so, headline comes out. Alabama police ruled as a criminal enterprise. Not the entire state police, but one county police. Huntsville, Alabama. And here is the first, master of the oaf renaissance. I'm sure you can figure out which one it is. They all look a bit oafish, but one guy's like the oafiest of oafs. One guy has pure henchman physiognomy. Like, just straight up, cartoonish, flat cap, okay, boss, like that kind of physiognomy. I'm sure you can figure out which one it is. But yeah, what the hell happened in Huntsville, Alabama? A grand jury said that this entire police department is a criminal enterprise. They also acknowledged that the headline was a bit poorly written. It says the entire police department was put on leave. This might mislead readers into thinking the entire police force was dismissed. The use of the term "an" would be appreciated. But yes, he can drink, he can fight, he can drink some more. That is Alabama man physiognomy right there. What is going on? I don't know. The police chief, 5 officers, including, Blockhead McOaf here, and an officer's wife were arrested after a grand jury determined the department operated under a rampant culture of corruption. After multiple scandals, it should be abolished. Yeah, it's a, small-town corrupt police department, drugs taken out of evidence lockers, overly aggressive policing, etc., etc. But yeah, so let's, also we see things like ethics violations and evidence tampering. Let's see, what do we have going on here? Yep, ethics violations, evidence tampering, computer tampering. Not sure who these names are. I don't think the goon there knows how to use a computer. But, yeah, that's straight up henchman physiognomy, and I'm honestly kind of amused by it. Ponythroat says, the Coleman country guy looking like a live-action Shrek before they add the green paint. Yes, you watch your cartoons when you're a kid, you see the, the heavy, pugnacious, jowly character, as Preston Blair would have put it. And, you think, well, this person couldn't exist in real life. We are seeing that, in fact, the jowly, pugnacious man does exist in real life. Yeah, Preston Blair, of course, very important contributor to the, the Illusion of Life, the literal textbook of Walt Disney animation, who describes, stock characters you can draw, like the cute baby character, the pretty girl, and the heavy, the thug, the pugnacious character. The pugnacious men exist in real life. And the fact that this, I mean, I guess he is in a manner of speaking, but the fact that this man is not officially wearing an ill-fitting suit and a flat cap, taking orders from, a midget with a Tommy gun, that's a great disappointment. I'm very upset at that. Base Lankovich says, you don't have any cards. Money controls Trump and Putin. Yeah, we'll get to politics there. Robert Diaz says that dude looks like he was a stunt double for the troll in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Yeah, a little bit. Base Lankovich says, read Dark Tower, follow the Deutsche Bank mortgages to the oligarch banks. For a brief second there, I thought you meant Stephen King's Dark Tower. Then I realized you probably wouldn't be talking about that. Okay, let's get these ugly, ugly people off my stream. I mean, let's be honest. Like, most of these people are sort of, henchmaxing. But the one in the middle there is, like, the most henchy of henchmen. Shinseki Evans says his motto is, duh. Yes, if there was ever a face that should be saying, duh, okay, boss, it is that man's face. Keep the change, you filthy animal. Yeah, you got, Stephen Chung in the White House. You got that guy. There's just, the oafs are having a bit of a renaissance. When I was younger, there were brief periods where I aspired to be, like, a violent oaf. But, I'm neither large enough or stupid enough to do so my dreams of oafdom have to be put aside. But speaking of oafs, remember the neck guy from Georgia? Let me pull this guy up. I'm sure you all know who I'm talking about. Yeah, so that is Charles McDowell, of the McDowell's Hamburgers. Just kidding, of course. A.K.A. the neck guy. He's in the news again. And he's in prison again. This time, he was sending dick pics or nudes or some kind of imagery to a minor. I'm not sure what he did the last time, but yeah, it's probably wasn't anything good. And that's a shame, because, usually you don't expect pedophiles to be, like, burly, wide-necked men. You expect them to be little dweeby, like, hunched over, like, crabbed men. That's a shame. But I'm sure it's a minor issue. He'll be out by next week. And get it? Next week. He. Yes, I'm amusing myself. Perhaps he was misaccused. Perhaps they confused him with one of the Goombas from the original Super Mario Brothers movie. And it really is a bit of a pain in the ass that I now have to explain that, like, there are 2 Super Mario movies, and one of them is live action. And yes, I'm aware that technically there's 3 Mario movies. One is an anime OVA that nobody ever saw. So yeah, hopefully this gets cleared up, and we can continue our oaf renaissance. Okay. The oafs will have their day in the sun, damn it. Ponythroat says that these people are all mad that the term goon has been appropriated. Yes. If nothing else, I think Eric Powell's going to be happy. His goon comics are probably getting a new fan base of people who are confused about what the term goon meant, and they're looking for masturbation material. Ponythroat says he has built up a resistance to being hanged. Well, thankfully we don't hang people anymore. Ponythroat then says, give me 1 second here, I'm trying to click through the many, many tabs I have. Ponythroat said he's built like the Snapchat logo. No, what he looks like a thumb with a human face drawn on it. But yeah, speaking of oafs and Fort Knox and Trump's money, let's talk about that a little bit. Bill Stankovich says if he were young, he would go fight for Ukraine, joining I believe there's like 4,000 or 5,000 Americans who have done so, as well as people from many other countries. Yeah, I mean, I certainly don't support Putin and his actions there, but let's see what's going on with that. Yeah, apparently Trump met with several European politicians, like Keir Starmer, Emmanuel Macron, and Vladimir Zelensky. We'll talk about Keir Starmer in a little bit, right after this, actually. Trump has been trying to make a pathway to peace next to Mr. Zelensky, who is a tiny, tiny little man. Trump says, I hope I'll be remembered as a peacemaker. I'm doing this to save lives. This could lead to a third world war. Some people think he might get the Nobel Peace Prize. Who knows? I highly doubt he's going to get one. But people are, a bit upset. People are yelling at Vladimir Zelensky, why don't you wear a suit? I mean, I agree. I think he could have put a suit on if you're going to go, meet the President of the United States. Yes, to the side, J.D. Vance kind of smiles sardonically, and Marco Rubio just kind of glowers and looks angry. Yes, not to be outdone, several European heads of state are saying that they're going to start rearming without America. And I say that's good, honestly. I personally don't approve of America having to babysit everybody. I want multipolarity in the world. I want everybody to kind of fight for themselves and take care of themselves. I think that would be good. I think we'd all be better off without that. Or with that, I should say. Ponythroat says, back in the day, I used to play a PS1 platform about stopping the evil Goon Queen. The first level was the dangerous road to Goon City. That game has not aged well. What game is that, sir? For some reason, I'm thinking of that game, Pandemonium, on PS1. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but I'd be interested in learning about the Goon Queen. Yeah, please let me know, sir. Alpha Rodriguez says, the live-action Mario movie was better. I do actually like the 1993 Mario movie. I know it's not great, but it does amuse me, I'm not going to lie. Pointthought says, capitulation masking does not become him. It worked out great for Neville Chamberlain. Pointthought says, yes, that's Pandemonium 2. I don't know what that says about me, that you can give me like a vague description of an old video game and I can like name the game, or at least name the franchise that the game was in. Oh boy, I've spent a lot of my life playing video games. Let's see, Alpha Rodriguez says, the deal was going well until Zelensky asked for American boots in Ukraine. Yeah, I'm not in favor of that. I do support Ukraine. I support their actions, but I don't think American lives need to be risked here. Yeah, it was all like very poorly outfitted here. You got Zelensky showing up in his tracksuit. You have Ramaswamy showing up in his disturbingly dark and gritty bare feet in a suit, which looks incredibly unprofessional. Vivek, you seem to be under the impression that you are Vivek of the tribunal, and you are not, sir. But yeah, let's, speaking of European heads of state, let's talk about Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer is interesting in all the most disturbing ways. Keir Starmer is apparently the NPC in human form. People say that like the phrase NPC to describe somebody is like dehumanizing, but Keir Starmer does appear to be an NPC. And I quote, Keir Starmer does not have a favorite book. He does not have a favorite poem. He has never thought about whether he is an extrovert or an introvert. He claims he never had any fears in childhood. He tells Charlotte Edwards of The Guardian that he doesn't have dreams either. His head hits the pillow after the day is gone, and his mind is just a blank void until dawn. Yeah, I bet it is. Your mind is a blank void until dawn. Yes, Mr. Starmer, Prime Minister Starmer, you are an NPC. You know, it's like, you say the NPC phrase is dehumanizing, but some people, apparently they are NPCs. For those of you people who are, a bit older, you don't know what an NPC is. Literally, an NPC is a non-player character in a video game. A character who's, part of the game, just kind of programmed to walk around in a little loop and say the same thing over and over again. Some people are apparently NPCs. They have nothing going on in their mind. They're just soulless, like, automatons who just, go about and do their jobs. I don't have dreams. I don't have any fear. I just beep boop. I don't read books. I don't have poems. Just put food in mouth. Go work. So needs to say, he's the perfect politician, Keir Starmer. Pointy says, I'm kind of surprised you got that. The game is turbo obscure even compared to the first one. Fargus was still a better Joker than Jared Leto, though. I never played Pandemonium 2. I only ever played the first Pandemonium. It was on PC a little bit. I know, you just said, like, PS1 platformer that didn't age well, and I was like, okay, it's either Pandemonium or that game. Wasn't there that, like, first-person platformer where you're like this little robot bunny and you, like, hop around, but it's in first person? Pointy Throat says, Ukraine is a lesson why you shouldn't give up your country's nuclear weapons. Yes. Yes, it is. It seems that Europeans are going to rearm. At least Macron is talking about building nukes again. Good for them. I'm in support of multipolarity. And yes, it is purely just spite and anger that I am against, America being a superpower, because I really hate how Europeans get to prance around and pretend like they're innocent as they, mooch off our defense and take our money for, aid and development, and we don't receive an ounce of appreciation for it. So I say, you know what, fine, we'll give you what you want. We'll leave. We'll take our money with you. Deal with your own shit. And, of course, not to be outdone, I see John Bolton is trending. John Bolton is calling for Marco Rubio and Mike Waltz to resign over their handling of Zelensky during today's Oval Office meeting. John Bolton says, I never actually heard his voice, but I imagine he sounds like a cartoon walrus. Yesterday was a disaster for American national security. Trump has divorced himself from the foundations of policy. Trump is giving him what he wants. Well, actually, John Bolton, the foundations of American foreign policy are not being involved overseas. And, having a small standing army, like we basically used to have until after World War II. Yeah, there was this guy in America, he once said we should not have foreign entanglements. What was his name? It was like George something. I'm sure he wasn't important. He wasn't a patriot like John Bolton. Yeah, so John Bolton and Karl Rove have very negative opinions about what Trump's doing. I'm not a Trump fan, but if John Bolton doesn't like you, you must be doing something right. No sane person gives a two-penny fuck about John Bolton in 2025. Beady-eyed walrus mustache chicken hawk ass. Yeah, John Bolton is very much the, perpetual war for perpetual peace kind of guy. I you know, I would actually come around to Trump if he basically pulled John Bolton in and said, I don't give a two-penny fuck about your moral conundrum, you meat-headed shit sack. Just go full, 1840s gangs in New York on his ass. And dare I say, I might actually start supporting Trump if he did that. Okay, Biff Stankwich says, great impression of John Bolton. Not. Okay, I can clearly see, sir, that you're not a Trump fan. I mean, I didn't vote for Trump either, but I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you put a gun to my head and you were like, you got to pick between, a Trump Republican and like the old, neocon, stock line, go up, invade the world, invite the world Republicans. Yeah, I'm going to go with Trump. He's the lesser evil compared to that. Hey, Narahara Math says, Rubio is unhappy because he was convinced Zelensky would take the deal, and he told Trump. Zelensky changed the goalpost. Alpha Marigi asking about Keir Starmer says, does he have visual imagination? I don't know. I imagine he can't visualize the apple in his head. Ponythroat says, Keir Starmer is golem maxing. Yeah, he's a golem, all right. Ponythroat says, jumping flash. I don't know what that means, sir. Ponythroat says, I'm in favor of Germany electing a new and upcoming party, followed by rearmament. Yeah, I can see nothing going wrong with that. Alpha Marigi says, Zelensky is saying, implying that Russia will soon have to worry about a Russia crossing the ocean. It's a bit silly considering how many American civilians are armed. Yes, as Admiral Yamamoto put it, you can't invade America. There will be rifles behind every blade of grass. Yes. I mean, again, I would vastly be in favor of, like, severely downsizing the American military and basically putting up a militia corps where, like, every man is required to do, 3 months of, like, military training every year. I personally think that would, it would get us out of, like, affairs overseas, and B, I think that'd be much closer to what the founders would have wanted, personally. But, we're only supposed to like or dislike the founders depending on what the moods of the day are. But yeah, in general, if John Bolton is agreeing with you, you've probably made a mistake. And, I think my wife's actually starting to learn, like, how American politics work, because I was talking to her about how, back in the mid-century, there was a brief period where it seemed like we would have gone to a 4-day work week. And she immediately knew that it was probably Reagan and, like, the neocon establishment that put a kibosh to that. That's a good girl. You're understanding now. Moving on from, foreign policy and going to domestic policy. Let's talk about the Fort Knox thing. As far as I'm aware, Trump Finger and Chung Job are still planning on auditing Fort Knox. Some people are upset by this. And speaking of people who are always wrong about everything, Matthew Yglesias says, if the gold is in fact missing from Fort Knox, wouldn't it be more responsible to keep that covered up? Wouldn't it be more responsible to lie about the gold? How about no, Matt? No. It's responsible to lie to your allies and, like, don't tell them the truth about their missing money. I don't know how Matt Yglesias ever got into a situation where, like, anybody listen to what this moron has to say. I'm not even joking when I say that Matt Yglesias came to fame because he wrote some long, meandering horse shit about the second Spider-Man movie and how it ties into, like, Keynesian economics or, like, something like that. I'm not kidding. Look it up. That's how he got famous. He wrote some, like, 20-page essay about, the neoliberal consensus and how it applies to the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. No, Matt, we shouldn't lie. We should tell the truth. Telling the truth is good. It is good to tell the truth. We literally teach toddlers this, but apparently, Matt Yglesias never got that lesson. I mean, it's kind of funny because Matt Yglesias does literally look like a baby with a beard, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, let's just keep kicking the can down the road because we've been doing that for the past several decades in America. We see problems coming. We're just going to kick the can down the road. Like with the schools and the crime and the gold and the economy and the housing and the military and just wind your foot up and kick that can down the road. Or we can, I don't know, pick up the can and get things done. Alphamrigi says, and the debt. Well, yes, there are many cans that the political class is trying to kick down the road. I think because the political class realizes that, eventually, you're going to get to the point where, the bread and circuses are going to be turned off. Because, you can placate people with a lot if you just give them, like, bread and circuses, or, as Matt Forney calls it, football and corn syrup. As long as there's, as long as people have their bullshit make-work jobs and they got chicken wings and, garlic knots and cheap beer and, TV, they're more or less happy. But, when that goes off, there's going to be a bloodletting like you will never see before. And I think the neoliberals are kicking the can down the road, realizing that eventually people are going to have enough. It may not even be in our lifetimes, but it will happen. And I think they're hoping to just kind of hoover up as much money as they can and get out before that happens. Alphamrigi says, the gold was replaced with chocolate, gelt coins. Placing my bet now. My personal bet is on, like, bricks spray painted with, like, metallic gold spray paint. Pony Throat says, the gold is missing and replaced with worthless bundles of paper with Ben Franklin's face on them. Yes, the money is worthless. Yes. Hey guys, those great conditions that made America the greatest country in the world? Yeah, let's get rid of all of them over the next several decades to turn us into a third world shithole. Great success. Yeah, I don't know how Matt Yglesias could go from writing articles about Spider-Man to being a respected political contributor. I mean, I write articles and go on long rambling diatribes about pop culture. No one gives me, like, sinecures to write for, like, the New York Times and Bloomberg and stuff like that. What am I missing here? Is it the fact that I don't look like a slack-bellied tub of shit like Matt Yglesias? I mean, I can eat a bunch of artisanal burritos and gain weight if you want. Yeah, Matt Yglesias looks like he should be working like a dive bar in Brooklyn, dishing out IPAs to a bunch of hipsters. But then again, I don't even think hipsters exist anymore for several reasons we're going to get into at some other point, maybe. But yeah, this guy should be, like, running a microbrewery at best. That should be the peak of his success in life, and yet it isn't. Alphamrigi says, I just wanted to play video games. Yeah, me too. Alphamrigi says, I don't like Nazis. Why did you recreate the Weimar Republic? That is a very good question. Okay, moving on from that. See what else we got here. Let's see. I think we're coming towards the end of things. It's not going to be a super long stream today, but there is some positive political news. Let's go to Denmark. Many commentators have pointed out that right-wing anti-immigrant populist movements are gaining ground all around the world. America, Canada, Germany, Italy, Sweden. Possibly Australia next. The far right is going across the West. There is one European country where the left has won re-election and marginalized the far right. Denmark. Why? It's very simple, actually. Left-wing Danes have listened to working-class voters on immigration, and they reduced immigration levels. They realized that the, generous welfare states and social entitlements that made Scandinavia so renowned around the world can only exist if things are more or less homogenous ethnically, culturally, and socially. You can't have a generous welfare state and unlimited immigration. Well, duh. Like, really, you couldn't figure this out? You really didn't understand this was gonna work? Like, well, if we just let everybody in the world in and just keep up the generous welfare state, then everything's gonna work out. Herp a derp. It's really that simple. I guarantee you, I don't know what party's going to do it. Maybe it'll be a third party, but, whatever. If there is a political party in America that basically promises, strict immigration quotas and kicking out the illegal immigrants combined with, generous Scandinavian-style welfare states and pensions and healthcare, that party will clean house for the next 100 years. That party will basically clean house in every country for the next 100 years if they could get their asses together and, put that out. And yet nobody's doing that. We're literally seeing it working right now, and no one's doing it. I don't know why. Ponythroat says, somebody's going to say the gold is not going to still out there in the form of rings and stuff. It can be basic for a currency, bro. Yeah, let's just go back to barter economies. That's wonderful. I know, it seems to me like this is a very obvious thing that you can't have all these things that the urban bugmen liberals talk about, you need to have the walkable cities and public parks and healthcare, and yeah, those things are really cool. Why do you really want to talk about why we don't have those things in America? Do you really want to talk about this? I don't think you're gonna like what you're told. I mean, yeah, let's look at the Danish example and learn from them. Okay. Moving on from that, let's go to the idiotic crime beat. Okay, so Connecticut did something very, very stupid. Apparently, there was a murderous cannibal. A Bridgeport man who killed and ate another man has been released from prison. He's been released into a group home. An axe-murdering cannibal. They assure us that if he experiences any cravings for human flesh, he will immediately reach out for help. Oh, thank God. I was worried that this axe-murdering, dead-eyed cannibal might be a danger to society. I question how stupid some people can be. Are people just born and then, they immediately get slotted into politics? Do these people have zero life experiences? They don't understand how this is going to work? No, I don't want to live in a society with Tyree Smith, the, axe-murdering cannibal. But, some people need to be in prison. I have always said that the only people who should be in prison are violent criminals, to separate them from polite society. And you know what? Axe-murdering cannibals are, in fact, violent criminals that should be separated from society. Ponythroat says, if only there was a name for some kind of party that combined nationalism with socialism. I can't put my hoof on it, though. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, many people did praise what the Nazis were doing before they started invading other countries. But yeah, Denmark shows the way. You combine generous and vast welfare states with immigration restrictions and keeping it in the group. But yeah, no, we can't do that if we live in a society which is A-okay with cannibal axe murderers roaming the streets. Just saying. Okay, going into, the pop culture side of things. Let's talk about the Didster, Sean Diddy Combs. His lawyer has given up. Under no circumstances can I continue, says Anthony Rico. Bear in mind that Anthony Rico was the legal defendant for Osama bin Laden in United States versus Osama bin Laden, 2001. This man was A-okay with being obligated to defend Osama bin Laden, but P. Diddy is a bridge too far. And yes, I know it was a bit pointless to sue bin Laden in 2001. It was a matter of principle. Boy, one wonders what the Didster was doing. That was so bad that even his lawyer couldn't deal with it. Yeah, he's yes, Puffy is not getting out of jail ever. Yeah, this is really not a good look. I mean, I don't think the case has officially gone to trial yet, but you got to try pretty hard to, turn off your lawyer. Okay, moving on from that, let's talk a little bit about. Actually, no, we're going to talk about sports a little bit afterwards. Let's talk a little bit about science news. From The Atlantic says, killer whales are not our friends. Stop rooting for orcas ramming boats, by Jacob Stern. Nina Turner says, imagine valuing a boat above a living creature. So, I mean, dare I say, I actually agree with something about Nina Turner that she said. Yeah, I'm in favor of orcas ramming boats. Frankly, I think there should be more boats being sunk by killer whales, honestly. I am, in fact, rooting for the orcas that are ramming boats. I don't care what anyone says. If orcas are not friends, then why are they shaped like friends? Good show, orcas. Keep up the good work. Okay. Alphamariga says it depends on who's on the boat. Well, yes, clearly. Alphamariga says Anthony Rico defending bin Laden was more of a formality than anything. Yeah, I know. It's clearly not anything you could actually put him on trial for. It's a matter of principle. But yeah, let's talk about sports news. Something went a bit viral on the Twitter, more specifically, baseball Twitter. Some guy posted a picture. His mom said in a text message, I'm in a lottery to get Savannah Bananas tickets for their games in Kansas City, May 23rd and 24th. Would you like to go? Nah, Mom, I think I'm good. People were upset at him for being a bit rude to his mother. And I quote Sabi Womack, this loser's mom wanted to do something nice with him, and he went on here and clowned her. We're all going to agree with it. People were a bit confused. Like, what is the issue here? What did this poor banana do? I was not aware of this either, but apparently the Savannah Bananas are basically the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. You know, they're a barnstorming team who, they do like trick throws and like flip around and dance and, what have you. Yeah, they're basically like the Globetrotters of baseball. they're cool for what they are. I guess they would be like a. Let's see. I guess they'd be like minor league. Yeah, so they played in the CPL. It's a yeah, it's like a single A minor league ball team. Whatever. It's like your mom just asked you if you want to see the damn baseball game, sir, and you were kind of being rude to your mother. I'm not a particularly big baseball fan, but it seemed cool. Like it's they do their thing. There's a guy who plays on stilts, etc., etc. Yeah, the Savannah Bananas are apparently pretty decisive amongst the baseball fans. Some people are like, this is offensive to the purity of baseball. I have some questions about how pure the sport of baseball is, to be honest, sir. And this is hardly the worst thing that's ever happened to the sport of baseball. Just. So says Uncle Riz, that fucking banana skateboarding. He thinks he's cool. You're a Ohio redneck. Put the fries in my bag, little bro. Heh heh. I don't. Well, I guess I should thank baseball Twitter for, informing me of something I wasn't even aware existed. But yeah, if you're defending the purity of baseball, I think you should already realize you're making a mistake. There's no purity in professional sports. Ponythroat says, I'll never be as good at barnstorming as Todd Rogers. If I knew who that was, I'd probably be a bit. Let me look up Todd Rogers. Who the hell is that? American beach volleyball player. Yeah, I don't. Okay, are you talking about the ball player or the video game player? I'm assuming, because this is my stream, you're talking about the guy who got banned permanently from Twin Galaxies. Oh, I see. There was literally a video game called Barnstorming. Alpha Marigi says, I remember when Barry Bonds broke the home run record when I was 12. There's a pre-recorded message from him. I was so video game I thought it was from his dead dad. It was from the previous record holder. Barry Bonds' dead father, Hank Aaron, whatever. I mean, personally, I'm not really into the kind of, slapsticky, Savannah Banana shit. I mean, when it comes to baseball comedy, I'm always going to vastly prefer Conan O'Brien playing, like, the 1800s baseball with, like, the historical reenactors. Like, that's my idea of, like, baseball-related comedy, in my opinion. What ho? What is that demonry? Yeah, if you haven't seen that skit from Conan O'Brien, by the way, go check that out. That is some funny stuff. Yeah, so I was at the Civil War, and I saw your husband was being a complete coward, and he just started making out with men. It was very pathetic. We should have sex. Yeah, anyway, look, sir, your mom wanted to invite you to a baseball game. And you were just really rude about it. Every so often, I toy with the idea of like trying out for like a minor league baseball team, just to see if I can just brute force my way through sheer, hitting power, because I can hit the ball pretty good. I can run pretty fast. Not much of a fielder, but it does strike my fancy every once in a while. Bisankovic says the purity of baseball keeps Pete Rose out of the Hall of Fame. Yes, that too. That's what I'm making fun of, sir. It's like, considering all the shit that has gone on in baseball, like, are the Savannah Bananas really the worst thing that's ever happened? And finally, also in sports-related news, Barstool Sports, the popular sports ball website, they ran like a mock NFL combine just for the fun of it. The results were not good. Most infamously, Mr. Tate from Barstool Sports literally could not bench 135 pounds. He got it to his chest, then his little noodle arms sort of flapped and like buckled, and the guy behind him, who was a fat man in a referee shirt, just kind of effortlessly lifted it off him. Kelly Keegs of Barstool Sports actually did pretty decently, which is kind of sad because she's, a woman, and she did like the best of the whole combine. But yeah, this is pretty pathetic, sir. You run a sports website. You clearly have no business being anywhere near sports at all. And bear in mind that this, Barstool guy, he's got to be at least 200 pounds, and he can't even bench 135. Pretty pathetic, sir. He's trying to brush it off, like acting like it's cool. It's like the road to 135. He's like got little like 10-pound dumbbells. It's sir, you can I should probably do a video on this actually at some point, because yeah, this is absolutely horrendous. It's like these beer-bellied losers like, oh man, I'm a real man because I watch sports. Yeah, you're a real man because you watch other men being athletic and strong, and you can't even bench 135. I don't watch sports often, and I could clean the clocks of everybody in this stupid combine. Absolutely horrendous performance, sir. Point says Larsen's going to become the real Buck Buckeye. This is a reference I doubt anybody will catch. Time to look it up. Okay, Buck Buckeye was a baseball player in an episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Oh, for God's sake, I look better than Keone Young any day of the week. Like, look, I haven't played baseball since I was a child. But, actually, let me rephrase that. I haven't played a formal game of baseball since I was a child, but, I'll throw the ball around and hit the ball and go to a batting cage, every once in a while. So I feel like just out of sheer athleticism and brute force, I could maybe make like a minor league team. Maybe. Then I realized that I have like an actual job and responsibilities, so I can't do that. And of course, I mean like single A ball, like where it's like, so you won the game. Here's like $10 on a free hot dog. Robert Diaz says Pete Rose should not be in the Hall of Fame. He waited to confess his gambling until he could make money on his confession. Yeah, this is a very heated argument. We're not going to get into this. Alvin Rodriguez says need to work out after this. Yeah, I might actually watch like the whole Barstool Combine and like just mock them for being weaklings. If I recall correctly, I believe the NFL Combine, like the test weight they do is 225. But as we all know, I assure you, nobody who works for Barstool Sports could even do a 1-rep max of 225. And, to be honest, it's not like I can judge. Like, that's pretty much the most I've ever 1-rep maxed. 225. And that, like, took basically everything I had. But still, like, I mean, compared to these guys, I'm like goddamn Conan the Barbarian compared to these losers. Yeah, this is just an hour and 30 minutes of just some of the worst athletics you will ever see in your life. I have always said that every once in a while you should have competitions where you put regular people against actual athletes, just so you can have an idea of just how impressive, actual professional athletes are. Or you could do like the NFL Combine and just have like regular Joe Schmucks do combines. Because, my God, some of these guys, like, they literally run like their legs are going in two opposite directions. Oh my, Jesus! Like these suicide drills are like they make me want to commit suicide. My God. And of course, this dude ran for 10 seconds and he's already like exhausted, because of course he is. Alright, so yeah, that does for my prepared remarks. You can say your last pieces now, should you desire. Pony Throat, making a Half-Life reference, says, the Combine never struck me as athletic, hence a desire for stable teleportation. I mean, they did kick the shit out of all of humanity's militaries in 7 hours, so I think they're pretty athletic if they could do that. Okay, let's see. Alpha Mariga says, I'm not playing cards manually, Poldy, but I did eat breakfast this morning from one of the most basic idioms ever. Yes. Alpha Mariga says, surprised you didn't talk about the Epstein Rickroll. That was a shit show. I mean, I saw that, like, they had the Epstein list and, like, everyone was kind of dancing around. I don't know about, like, a Rickroll. Let me look that up. Okay, let's see. Oh, yes, yeah, the House Judiciary GOP said Epstein files were released, and they rickrolled them. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's I don't approve of that. I mean, if it was some other thing, like, I could accept that, but not for like a rape and pedophilia case. Perhaps it was a wrong idea to put a bunch of porn-brained Zoomers in charge of aspects of the government. Yes, very tasteless indeed, Alpha Marigi. Alright, I think that's about going to do it for now. So for Larsen Halleck, this has been Larsen Halleck. All of you enjoy your Saturday, and have a good day.